Welcome back to another episode of YounderTales. Eastwood, what it do, baby?
What's up, y'all? What's up, Al?
Oh, you already know, Ski. Hey, I always tell people everywhere we go, when we go do tournaments and stuff, people be so juiced to hear our stories. Like, it don't matter where we go. When you sit back, if you get around me and Eastwood at any tournament and hear us reminisce about stories, oh, you definitely gonna be in tears.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably heard majority of these stories multiple times.
right. The stories that never get old, you know, They like age well like fine wine.
Yeah, it's like fine wine.
It's like fine wine, you know what I'm saying? So I said, me personally, I love them. And the best part to me is like, all these years, like what has been like 20 plus years or something, somewhere around there, me and you.
Damn,
how crazy is that? Yeah, it's been a long time, brother. Me and you been making these moves out here on this water and the adventure, you know, because like I said, the time from when we first start fishing tournaments or just fishing up until now, 20 years later, and then it's like so cool, like I was able to have the phone and record a lot of that stuff during that time. So when we look back and be like, man, all this stuff we accomplished. I even go when I look at plaques and stuff in the house, I'll be like, me and Clint, like looking at the dates, like, and then I could, and on Facebook and Instagram, they always put up the memories, and then it'd be like me and you doing all this, and I'm like, man, we had conquered a lot,
right?
Like we started from the bottom, bottom. Like I say our generation of fishermen was like the last before the internet came, where you really had to get it, you really had to earn that name. Yeah. It was no way around it. You had to put in the work. You had to go to all these different fishing tournaments and put your name in. It was like old school basketball when your team was good at this court, and y'all drove to this court and beat them dudes, and y'all drove to that court to beat. Like, so everybody in that area knew when y'all showed up, it was trouble.
It was trouble, huh?
Hey,
it took a long time for that.
A long time, Eastwood.
Yeah,
a long time, brother. Hey, let's share one of them good old stories. You know, I said last time we left off, it was just kind of the beginning of how me and you met and kind of how we got into fishing a little bit. But I guess let's just pick up where we left off. Right before either our first tournament together or leading up to our first tournament. You remember that?
I want to say it was the first time fishing together. I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
You were like, "Come on, man, let's go fish." I got a couple guys coming out. Obviously, we stayed across the street, so that's how I met him. He was my neighbor across the street. And you were like, let's go do we're gonna do a little tournament. I got this Rip and Lips thing and blah 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 blah. I'm like, I had no idea what Rip and Lips was. I had nothing. I wasn't on social media, still not on. I wasn't on nothing like that. And you were like, yeah, let's do this little Rip and Lips tournament. I got a couple buddies coming out. I can't remember exactly who it was. I think it was
who was it?
I want to say it was Sweetwater and Twan. And it was like me and you. And I felt like there was two other people. I can't recall who it was.
I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody else. We did have a couple of the boats. I remember.
It was three. I
want to say I think it could have been Shim and Captain J.
It was like 3 boats. Yeah. And I was like, all right, this is the rules of the tournament. You know, we're going to do our, I forget if it was 5 fish or 2, 3, whatever it was. Every man for themselves. You know what I mean? We're going to go out and we'll all bring our fish in, put up, it was whatever, $50 or something, whatever we did. And we'll come back and weigh these fish and see what it do. And I was always confident, you know what I mean? You know, if anybody knows, you know. So he's on the front. Mind you, I have never fished with him, I've never even been on a bass boat. I'm coming from paddle boats and little boat with a trolling motor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. So I'm just like, damn, I'm on a boat. We're smocking, woo, 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 all down,
you know,
all over the place. And he wants to go down south. I'm like, okay. I grew up down south on Kings Island down there. It's my stomping ground. So we go down there, and as we're going, I'm like, pull up right here. This little point, everyone knows the point going from Old River going into Italian.
Yep.
and we pull up and we're gonna go in and fish.
Watch out for them rocks.
Yeah, watch out for them rocks. Actually, a lot of that's worn out before. Remember, it used to be way more.
Yeah, little I was like 2 years ago. Didn't Harv cut right through there and ruined his lower unit?
Is that where it was?
Yeah, that was exactly where it was.
Yeah. So watch out for them rocks. But yeah, anyways, we pulled up. We're gonna go in and I had a little red crankbait tied up. I cast it out there.
And it was super windy. It was super cool Kyle out there too that day.
What? Oh yeah, it was. It was super cool.
It was super cool Kyle.
So I was in the front going down. It must have been the first or second cast.
It seems like I think so.
That sucker just locks up. I'm like, oh, this is a good one. Oh, I'm biting it. I get it in. That shit was like 8, 9.
It was straight 8. Y'all, that thing was so gordy. I was like, damn, like, cause it's been like tough, catching the 3s and 4s. Like, you caught those, you was in the game. Hey, Yonder come and I'm like,
hey, I was tripping.
I'm like, damn, man, we put all this money up in this tournament. He started off the gate first cast, 8 Yonder. I said,
tell him. So, what'd you do next?
I said, you know what?
Boop, bop, beep.
Boop, bop, beep. I did 3-way call. I got all the boaters on line, everybody on the phone. I said, you know what? That's stupid for everybody to just do an individual tournament when there's so many of us. We should just do a team tournament. And then everybody combine their money, and then there's a team that each was and they was like, well, that's cool. Hey, we'll do a team tournament. And I got on the phone, I was like, we're teammates for life.
I've been stuck with this guy ever since, man.
Hey, 20 years later. We literally have a couple of 100 tournaments under our belt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if there's, I can't say if there's, but we got to be in the top 10 of Delta guys who did, like, we would fish so many tournaments. It was crazy. And we never gave any excuses on fishing these tournaments.
Oh, yeah. There was a point, I had this old bass tracker. This sucker had like a hole in it. The bilge pump didn't work. We had a half a live well pump.
Yeah.
Carpets flying off this thing. Yeah. It's going downhill fast, right? And I'm like, man, there's no way we could do this tournament next week. And he's like looking at me like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's no way, and it's the winter, and it's cool cow out there. The forecast is blowing 30. I'm like, we cannot take this tracker in another tournament. We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it back. It's going to sink. It's going to blow up. It's not happening. And
I'm like, are you listening to yourself?
Yeah. No, I would seriously be like, so what do you want to do? You don't want to fish the tournament? No, we're not going to fish the tournament.
So what do you suggest we do? Like, how are we going to fish the tournament and get to our spots if you're going to put the boat out the game? Oh, listen.
This is not
the boat we should take, man. It's a hole in the boat. I was like, man, come on, like.
I'm telling my wife, Nicole's like, we're laying in bed the night before the tournament, about to go to sleep, and it's the wind, you can hear the screaming stuff blaring. Hey, she's like, you guys are seriously about to try to go fishing tomorrow on this? Well, I'm like, yeah, man, don't trip. I'm not telling her about the hole and the hole in the hole.
Yeah,
and the bills. No, I'm not saying all that.
We fishing a Tracy Bass for Cash tournament. Just hit about a 7-pounder. Oh my gosh. Hey, me and the Eastwood out here putting in work. We got about 17 pounds now on a nice windy day on the California Delta, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned for more catches. Go to rippinglips.com, get all your gear. Go police the water, baby. Stay tuned. Eastwood, baby, we in the game. We'll see if we catch first. We'll see if we win first place. Stay tuned. Oh my God.
I had 2 boats and they both was broke down. Actually, one got stolen and the other boat broke down and Eastwood had the tracker. So we need the tracker. Because at this point in our careers in fishing, this was leading up to so much hard work. Like, we would get ass kicking after ass kicking after ass kicking but we never thought of it as, oh man, we just not good enough. We can't, we knew, man, we fishing against the greats. And as soon as we can put this together, it's just going to start working. And, as soon as we got discouraged, something will happen. We'll find out. We'll figure something else out. And we just kept figuring out little things to where we got to a point where it was like, okay, Eastwood, it's starting to make some magic happen. So now it was like, we can't miss their tournament. No tournaments. We got to fish every tournament that they got, because outside of just trying to get a plaque for the first time, we wanted our names to be known at all these places, because at that point in the Delta, it was all about your status. Like, can you catch them? Can you not catch them? And it ain't no during the week. Can you come out here on tournament day and catch them? And that was our thing. And then just trying to get there. And then I just remember when we was in the tracker. And at this point, we haven't won a tournament. We haven't got a plaque. We trying to like really get it in. And then when we did our first tournament, do you remember our first tournament?
Our first, yeah. Well, I remember a part. I don't even remember what tournament it was. Yeah. But I remember you telling me like, man, I got a tournament this weekend and my partner can't make it. He's like, you got to do it with me. And I'm like, we had only fished maybe that one time, and I'm all, man. I'm in my mind, I'm seeing all these fancy boats and, you know what I mean, seeing all these guys going around. So I just had a whole different thing in my mind of what tournaments were about, and didn't know. And had like, mind you, he had like 4 ugly stick spinning rods tied up with frogs on them and stuff. I'm looking at him like, I'm not the best in the world, but I'm growing up at 6, 7 years old. I was flipping a bait caster, I'm like looking at like, I don't know if we're ready for a tournament, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, don't trip, forget them people, man. This is what we do. We would get our ass kicked so bad, you would make a positive out of it and make it like, oh, it's good. Like, don't trip. Like, we'll do this next time. I'm like, all right, let's go. Because I'd be quick to be like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all good.
You always kept us. So yeah, we went and did this tournament. We came, forget where we were, probably a couple coves over in Disco, the very first one over here.
Yep.
And there was this little, I remember this. There was a little patch, and I had never seen a fish get punched or pulled through some thick vegetation like that.
Yeah.
You pulled up in there, and I don't know how'd you do that on a spinning rod? He must have had one bait caster, probably like a fiberglass bait rod or something.
No, by that time, that's what I had. I switched over to bait caster, and I was practicing with the cups in the living room and everything. Okay. And I had to start stepping my game up, because the game, once Jamon took me out and I started seeing that. Once he took me out, it just blew my mind. I was like, damn. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So I said with Jamon, it was clean, because he took me to the house and was like, hey, take these 2 flipping sticks, bait casters, go home, practice. And then, man, just shoot me 250 whenever you can. Yeah, straight player. Yeah, shout out to Jay. Ski.
That's the last time you get 250 out of him.
Right. So, yeah, Eastwood. And then when I punched that one, you was like, hell no. And I told you, I said, man, I'm telling you, they got this thing called punching out here.
And my eyes were like this after. I'm like, I never seen nothing like that in my life.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we was in the era, right, when the dudes who really was punching on the Delta, when they had it under their hat before the internet, it was such a secret. But then as soon as they start hitting a couple people, we was like one of the first couple peoples. So me and Easel was still early, but not as early as a lot of the OGs, the triple OGs. Yeah. But we still was early enough than a lot of people. And we would go out there, me and Easel, because I said we both live on the water in Discovery Bay. Every day after work, we was out there until nighttime, coming back at night, trying to perfect our game. Mm-hmm. Like, we put in so many hours, like so many repetitions. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can punch in our sleep. Like, our arm would automatically just know what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Dreams.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Let them have it. But one of my favorites, Eastwood, is when we put in all that work, and I thought that we finally was about to win our first tournament. You remember that day?
Never forget it.
Hey, guys, let me tell you something. This was leading up. This is when the practice is just like start off good during the week. by the end of the week, you're calling your shots. Like we were so in tune at this point. We was like, we about to finally, because we came close. We had so many seconds and thirds and fourths and 10, a lot of top fives, and was like, when is it gonna be our day just to win that first one? Like we want to win one, and then finally we get to the spot. Like this is when it was like, I feel like it's when the Temptations walked into Motown, and you know they're talking to Berry Gordy, and they know they was about to sign that deal. If y'all ever seen the Temptation movie, y'all know what I'm talking about. But with me and Eastwood that morning, we couldn't even sleep because we knew where they was at. And this was like one of the first tournaments that we knew good ones, and we knew where they was at, and the weather and the tide, everything set up perfect for us.
Yeah.
And I was like, today is our day. Like, we was so excited.
Everyone knows those tournaments when you leave the dock and you know, like,
yeah,
you just look at each other and you start driving, however long it is, or you can't really talk. But when you leave, you're like, you just know, you know where you're going.
Yep.
They're there. You know. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we all like to think that they're there every time, but a couple of the times you really know. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pull up, and we're gonna catch them. If I get these fish on the boat,
that's a good feeling all by itself.
Oh, that is crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
But like, it is a feeling, though.
Yeah, just knowing the day before, if you know you didn't get them, you going to the tournament, like, man, it is whatever.
Or not even that. Like, you could have a couple here or there, whatever. Like, you usually leave the tournament, like most tournaments, hopefully you got some confidence in a few areas and you think something's going on or whatever. Like, that's the normal. I'm talking about when you know. You can't sleep. That they there. Oh, you can't sleep.
Can't sleep.
You're leaving the dock. You're making sure you got extra tools, props, everything.
You tell a couple of your buddies, like, look, leave your phone on.
Yeah, please.
Because I'm going after them today.
Yes.
Yeah, you absolutely right, Eastwood.
No, it's a different kind of.
Yeah.
And it only happens, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, but that's like
once every so many years, really. Like, where you really, or for me at least, maybe not for you.
No, I think if you fish enough, you'll be lucky enough to have that part of your adventure of the fishing from when you first started until you win. Just knowing those days when the practice was shitty, but you still had to get out there and make magic happen. But you still feel like you're going to catch them. Yeah. But then versus one when you was like, practice was like one of the best days I ever had. I couldn't do no wrong. I cannot wait to see if they still there and doing what they was doing.
Because we've also had those practices, which everyone has, where you had that same feeling. You leave the dock and you had the worst finish you done ever had.
Right, no magic.
You never switched up. And
you kept it going. You never left.
Yeah,
you're right.
But this time, we was like, they there.
Yeah.
And within a couple casts, like, as soon as we pull up, they was there.
They was there. Hey, we had so much fun. It was windy. We was catching some good ass fish. This was like the part where we felt like it can really happen, right? We had solid bag already up in the 20s, right? Eastwood takes his Cinco. Until this day, I've never seen this before. He throws the Cinco up towards the rocks. It literally was like maybe half a foot from the bank, and it just sat there, right? But I'm thinking he's just going to do the slither and just bring it on down. He had it sitting up there, and I just happened just to look at it sit right there. Gordita comes from underneath the dock.
No, you were hating. The water was kind of clear at this spot. He was like, "What? There's no water right there.
Why would you throw it?
This shallow." And I flipped it over. I flipped it up there, and I'm just slithering, dragging it back. And he's talking shit. He's like,
I was talking shit. I said, like, why would you like throw it out the water? You might as well put it up in the ladies' living room. Maybe put it in the kitchen.
And the flowers up there.
Gordita comes out. And they start, and I'm looking like, what the hell? That was like 8 younder.
Wow.
He said it. Dude, he get fish. I hold fish. Put him in the box. He instantly catches another good one. Now I said, I got to do video. And then I had to make video because now at this point I'm doing Facebook and stuff, keeping us lit.
I'm still shaking, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ripple Lips Hit Squad. Mr. Perfect Cast, Eastwood. We jumped in Tracy Oasis tournament. Not that many people showed up, fear in man's eyes. I told Eastwood, let's go get 30 pounds, 2-day tournament. It's a separate tournament tomorrow. Watch on deck, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? 6-7 pounds. Okay, let me put him back there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this Ripple Lips Hit Squad. We love y'all. 6-pounder in there. 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s. Yeah, so we'll get you at the weigh-in, see if we hit for 30 pounds or not. You know, we do it for the hit squad, flip squad all day. Eastwood.
All day.
Yeah.
What it do?
Well, stay tuned. More ripping lifts. Get out there, baby. You ain't out there ripping. Get out there and rip, baby. Get out there.
You know, I told him, I got to document all this because we going to always want to look back on this stuff. Just think, 50 years from now, we can always look back on this when he was in our 20s and 30s and stuff and 40s.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? And watching this stuff. So, for me, I was like, damn. Like, I filmed it, and I was like, man. I'm just like, oh, my God, this is... Like, I'm turned up in the video. I can hear myself every time I watch it.
Oh, I was already on stage. He's counting the money. Buying new... Oh, everything's going on.
I'm writing the speech.
Oh, man. It's like, hey. Oh, that's another one. When you pull up to a spot and just everything looks right, you can hear the bluegills
Give them
popping.
one more slogan.
You can hear this is a little slogan, a little insider. You hear the bluegills popping and everything just looks right. The fog's on the water just right. Everything you want to see is there. You go, start working on the speech. Start working on the speech.
Hey.
Won it. You already won it.
We done gave y'all a gym right there.
Start
when y'all
working on
doing
the
a
speech.
team tournament and then y'all pull up and y'all just feeling good, you pull up to that first spot and everything looks how it's supposed to look, and in your brain you know you about to win this tournament and start kicking ass. You look at your partner and look at him and say, actually, the person who usually goes up and do the talking, because usually it's one person that talks the most and so he does all the talking. You tell that person who do the talking, say, start working on the speech.
Start working on the speech.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Because when you kick ass at a tournament, you get that bag and you just dominate the tournament.
Or you get that last big one.
Exactly.
Oh, start working
on the speech. Because when you get on stage and then you done kicked ass that tournament, you know what the director want. Speech. Heck yeah. So
damn, I sidetracked us. Where were we at?
No, so so now we sitting on like 27, 28 pounds, right? Of just goodness gracious. At this point, I'm like, they had to catch him. So this is so funny. I always would be like, yeah, we about to win. Eastwood, if we do get a big bag, he like, they biting today.
Everybody's getting.
He will always even like, man, don't stop my shine.
We're the opposite.
Yeah, we're the opposite.
I was like, man, I want to work on speech. Maybe get out there. But it's all because of
that's the best part.
Like we got or you come back like,
man,
and then they go, oh, you didn't know they got 50.
Yeah. What? I'm like, what? I thought we won
today. Like, we had the best day of our lives.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So we got like 27, 28 pounds, right? So now it's time to head back. We heading back. Woo, we slapping 5. Whoa! It's cool Kyle all over the place.
Callers against Pop the whole
we driving
back
like, okay. He's like, Eastwood, we about to win this one, man. The bite's been tough. Man, this is the day. This is the day, right? This is a Tracy Oasis tournament, right? So now we on Grant Line. We smash at whoa. Like we almost there. I can see the end.
And it's blowing like 25, 30 down Grant Line.
Down Grant, yeah. Coon fucking cow. We keep smocking. Man, I'm like, now I can see like the turn off to Tracy Oasis. Like, this is the day. I like glancing like slow motion because I glanced at Eastwood and looked at it. We just nodded like, today's the day. If they didn't know who he was then, they gonna know now.
They gonna know.
All of a sudden, bang! And then the boat just stopped. And then I'm like, what the hell? And it's still running.
Old school Ranger. What?
Yeah, I think it was like the 263V or one of the old school Ranger. They got the cookies on the side, Black Max on it. Yeah, we had a 150 Black Max. This was what we call Ranger Danger. Yeah. And that was our boat. And then I'm driving. And I said, I'm still new to boats at the time. You know, I don't know much about boats. I just try to get them to fish terminal. As long as the motor and the troll motor work, we was in business, baby. Fixing them, that was a whole other thing. So that thing just went bang, and then it stopped. And then the motor was still running. So I'm looking at Eastwood like, what the hell just happened? Eastwood, what's going on? And Eastwood's like, oh, man. And I'm like, what? Talk to me, Eastwood. Please talk to me. We got the bag to win the turn. We're right there.
No. Oh, looks at me. It's like, we come on pad. Like, it revs up. I'm like, there goes the lower unit. And I was like looking at me. I'm like, the lower unit is broke. And he's like, the lower unit? And he's like looking at me like, I'm like, yeah, the lower unit. And he's like, and he keeps looking at the motor. He's like, but he's running. He's like, and he's revving it. He's like, it's grinding. You can hear the gears grinding. He's like, he keeps looking at the motor. But you running, motor? Why won't you go? And like, we can see the entrance to the burrito, and it's just blowing us back right now. And I'm like, oh my God, we're blowing back. And of course, with O's perfect timing, we're running it to the wire. We're about to be like, we're coming in with seconds to spare. So with this little mishap, we're done. So I'm like, we're floating back. I'm like, oh my God.
Remember I jumped in the trolling motor fast? I put the trolling motor and I put it on 100, like, just maybe. He was like,
we're still
going 30. I could, because my brain just wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not accepting this. He was like, this is our day. This is our moment.
I know. I couldn't believe it either. I was like, it's over.
That hurt me. That hurt me.
He didn't know. So ever since that day, he knows what a lower unit is now.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah.
You know what
you was like, the lower unit. I'm like, but she's running. Yeah. Like, what are you possibly saying? No, I'm sorry. And I'm like, I don't get it.
They're like, the motor sounds perfect. It's running
the
great.
motor's back there like, I'm
like he wants to go. He just won't go. And we're just dying and just floating back. I'm like, it's over. Oh. So then we call like the marina or something. They're like, don't trip, we're sending someone. So here, this boat pulls up, literally comes right out, gets us. We're right there. Hooks us up to the rope. They're like, get in our boat or whatever. We get in their boat. We're chilling. They're idling, and they're like, man. They're like, that's a bummer. You guys broke down. We're like, yeah, it sure is. And they're like, well, how'd you guys do today fishing? I was like, jumps up. He starts popping his car. Oh man, we got like 30. We caught 2 8s, a 7. No. But before that though, the partners are talking to themselves and they're like, it's all good. That you guys broke down. Yeah. We'll tow you in, and you guys can still weigh in. You're right here. You guys can weigh in. All this and that. They're like being super cool. And then me and O are laughing. Then the guy goes, well, how'd you guys do? And then that's when O starts. I got 3 8s, this, that. And then the dude driving the boat hits his partner. He goes, they can't weigh in. Yeah, they're disqualified. It's 3:01. They had to be in at 3 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm just looking at
slow around there.
He's about to cut our rope off and let the boat go. I'm like, oh, shut up.
I was like, shut up. Why was you telling? I was like, oh man, I jumped again. I got 2 juice. We got the bag of the best bag we'd have ever caught in a tournament. Oh my God, that was hilarious. They let us in. So they was like, well, y'all can still weigh it. It was like,
no, we were like, we just want to weigh it. We wanted to weigh it to see
because that was like the crushed. Thing that we crushed, and it was like 28 pounds. We would have won the tournament and everything, and that was just one of those like.
And we took last.
We did take last, but we had the biggest bag.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, like, I would never forget that day because it was a lot of work we put in.
Exactly. That's why when you do win or you do hit and all works out, it means more because
exactly
some guys, there's a lot of people that come out and you get lucky on that first tournament or whatever and you hit it's like the beginner's luck or whatever. It happens a lot. Like now the dude's got an $80,000 bass boat. Right. So I was like, damn, like when's that gonna happen again? You know what I mean?
He ain't seen it since then.
But ours never went that way. It was hard grinding, nose of the stone straight for days. And when we finally thought we had it, still smacked down.
Right.
Nope. Not today.
Not today. Hey. And it was like a big old pie of humbleness right there.
It took a lot of those.
And they had to but it was a lot of those just to get us where. That's why I said what we got. It didn't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? But from there, that was so sick because that there put a fire under us, and the stories and everything after that to come from there was crazy. But we gonna stop it right there.
Yeah.
Because that just giving y'all a little taste of where we're going. But you keep following, we're gonna paint the perfect picture of y'all, and you guys gonna get weak. Trust me when I tell you we have stories on top of stories on top of stories. Huh,
stories on stories on stories.
Stories on stories on stories, baby. And what we just hit y'all with right there was a Yonder Tale. Hey, thanks for tuning in, y'all. We're gonna see y'all on the next one. Easy.